Well, here we are once again on a Saturday morning, or as Oggy would say, on a Friday night. He's probably ready to go to bed again. Are you ready to go to bed, are you, Oggy?
No, I just got up from my afternoon nap, so it's beer 30,
Your
8 o'clock in the evening.
your senior's nap, is that right?
Yes, that's what it is, a
Yeah.
senior's nap.
One of
For
these
a
things.
person who's older than I am.
All these young people that come and watch this channel, they don't know how good the senior's nap is on a 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No, don't worry. I quite often take a senior's nap around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Why not? You can do it.
That's right.
It's our life.
When you're old and retired, you can take a nap in the afternoon.
Yeah,
I'm not
good.
retired yet.
Good morning, Mr. Mitch. How are you doing?
I'm tired.
Um,
Good morning, Mr. Mitch.
Mr. Mitch. And I just clicked on something I didn't want to click on. I just clicked off something I had prepared. Terrible, isn't it? Go on, there we go. I wanted to go into there. I wanted to go into there. That's right. Now leave that there. What was I also looking for? I was looking for. Yeah. Okay. So the stream is running. Yes. All good here. Could use a nap. Sometimes people just don't realise what growing old is all about. And Andy Stubbs there. He's calling in from the new state of North Korea. How you doing? And Luke, I know Luke's here on the Discord as well, but he's decided they're going to type today. Stephen Monash won't be joining us today. He's out playing golf. Lucky bastard.
Golf?
He left me a message earlier today. Said he was going to be playing golf. Mark Verdun, good morning, and how is the wonderful Thailand today? Well, I thought I'd start off with it. How is Thailand today? Here we go. So we're going to talk about real estate again today. So let's get the thing. Found this morning. Where are we? So I want to sort of go here, and I want to getting myself up to screen so you can see it. We had some flash flooding here last night. So here's some great photos. I don't really know what's the name of the channel here. What they call them. So what do you call them? So hey, it's the footsteps of Thailand. So some sort of public announcement group. But anyway, they're being shared publicly, so I felt I could share them. Xavier Turner, good morning. I'm new. Just discovered your vids. G'day, Xavier. How you doing? Nice of you to join us. Don't forget there's a like button thing you got to click down here. There are some rules of the channel. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and all that sort of stuff. From San Francisco, the West Coast. Anyway, so we had a bit of rain yesterday. I don't know. I haven't even looked out the window today. Still a little bit on the wet side out there again today as well. But thankfully it's not raining. And then the rain's let up finally. But yeah, so here's some nice photos. I thought we might go and show you. This is what we get here in Thailand. The flash flooding that we get. No, sorry. I think there was a rule made a couple of years ago. We're not actually allowed to call it flooding. It's water waiting to drain. That's the official term here in Bangkok. You can't actually call it flooding. I think that rule's gone out the window as well, like most other things with Thailand. But that was the funniest thing about Thailand. A couple of years ago when we had some pretty serious downfalls, how the media hype shit up. Well, they wanted to hype it up in the fact that Thailand, we had all this flooding, in 2011, we're going to have more flooding this year, and it was like everything with the media, it just gets out of hand. There was some sort of mandates that said not allowed to call it flooding anymore, it's water waiting to drain. So here we have lots of water waiting to drain. Not quite sure. Not sure where these photos are taken. Johnny Siam, good day, how you doing? That's Big T and has a Big T has the sea bug. Okay, yeah, right, whatever. What have I missed? No golf in Melbourne, very contagious apparently. Yes, I know. All that green, fresh air and sunshine, which we do know, vitamin D, is great for your immune system. Yet they want to keep you out of that shit, don't they? Yeah, can't have you out there and getting some vitamin D, and might as well eat some oranges as well, good vitamin C. But no, they won't have you doing that shit. But anyway, we're going to talk about the floods. Oh, sorry, the water waiting to drain. I'm not quite sure where these photos are taken. But it's quite impressive. Had a fair bit of water. I'm not quite... unfortunately, I don't know how much rainfall we've actually had. I don't think the Weather Bureau actually tells it. I have to check and see if we can. Is there a way to find how much rainfall? Last 24 hours. Yes, yesterday, okay, so pressure, humidity, highs and lows, but didn't, to maximum temperature. Doesn't tell me diddly squat about how much rainfall we had. Typical.
No comment.
Weather forecast, weather. So this is one of the things I did like about the Australian. The Bureau of Meteorology always gave you all the details you wanted to. Intensity, yeah, so 7 hours of rain forecast, but history. Anyway, I think I'm wasting time trying to work that one out. Temperature, precipitation in millimeters. Doesn't look very high. That was obviously that was the precipitation, wind speed. Yeah, useless map. Yeah. Anyway, go back to the photos. It's more interesting, isn't it? Richie, how you doing? Yes, some great looking photos here. I know they're a bit on the dark side. We do get a bit of water every so often. The poor motorcyclists. They don't know what to do half the time. Looks like that Sukhumvit 69. One thing I do find when we're going to be talking about building, right? There seems to be sort of something that seems to be very strange around, Thailand construction of houses. Gutters seem to be an afterthought. And as you can see from this awning here, the water just pouring down off the side of the buildings. But it's something you may not notice on the general sort of building scheme. But I find this quite common. They'll put these awnings up and extra extensions to houses and everything else, and gutters seem to be just a non-existent feature. It looks like some rats clamouring for some dry land there. Oh, you'd hate to be the 7-Eleven shop there, wouldn't you? Look at all that stock. I wonder if they're still checking temperatures. Mr. Mitch, when the water begins draining, are the streets half empty or half full? That's a good hypothetical question, isn't it? I think they're half empty, but anyway. Yeah, sometimes I think, Bangkokians need to think about buying a jet ski as opposed to a motorcycle. It also lifts all the crap out of the. That's a good depth there. There's nobody giving away to anybody. That one looks like it's knee high there. So we might not have the CV here, but I'm just pretty sure the tides are going to come down with some sort of contagious disease after that shit. I think that's enough of the photos there. I also had something else there. This one here is here from Stick Boy. He had a little bit of a video there from a channel. I think it's one of the news channels. What do we got here? I'll do it without the sound. Getting an idea what it's like in Bangkok in the rainy season. Bangkok Extra, that's the channel. A bit of a plug there. Surf's up, guys! Look at that. Doesn't look very palatable, does it? All the shit just fucking being washed up. There's a guy's motorcycle. He's yeah, unfortunately Bangkok doesn't have it, Andy. It's one of the issues. They've got a pumping system. They've got drainage. They've got massive, pumps that are supposed to kick in and drain it out, or get it out to sea. But invariably, what we found in the 2011 floods, which highlighted the problem, was the fact that half of them don't work. And when they do work, they get clogged up pretty quickly from all the refuse that gets washed down. Everything in Bangkok, and especially Pattaya, with the flooding, seems to be an afterthought. It's token gesture. Nobody really ever wants to solve the problem, unfortunately. Which is strange, because the fact that the present current government, they had a 10 or 20-year plan. I don't think any of the water problems were even cited in the 20-year plan. It was more about how do we make extra money, and have a continuous government for 20 years. Yeah, well, just like everything Thai, it seems to go out the door very quickly. We didn't have that much rain out here in the west, thankfully. We had a bit of rain, but it didn't get this bad. Mind you, we had it this bad a few weeks ago when it didn't hit Bangkok. It really does tend to be in pockets. The rain, as with a monsoon, if you know how geography works and weather patterns, monsoonal rains are very, very localised and very heavy. Unlike like when we had rain in Sydney, it was across the whole Sydney basin was was affected everywhere in those rainy seasons. Bangkok really can't, because they're only 5 feet above sea level. Well, that's the thing. What they need to be doing, like if you're going to have a 20-year plan, my 20-year plan would have been to build a wall across the Gulf of Thailand there. Maybe sort of 300 to 400 meters out from the edge. That would have been my plan for re-electing. Let's solve the problem, and let's do what they did in Holland, and solve the water problem once and for all. Keep the sea out, and lower the sea level at the mouth by 20. But yeah, great plans, but unfortunately, great plans come with great responsibility. That person's sort of suffering from a bit of water in the house. Yeah, so there we have a bit of rain last night. You'll probably hear about that in the news for the next 2 to 3 days, and all the hype news-wise. Um, Anyway, what I was going to do, well, I sort of put myself big again, but really what I want to do is take you through. Holland and London both have flood mitigation and building in Venice as well. Yeah, unfortunately, it's an afterthought here. Doesn't really get thought about much. Okay, so here's some of the other footage I took. Oh, come on, just lock in here. No, I won't do the audio. Let me just run that again and get me off screen. Yeah, so where we're at, we popped in to check out the house. Oh, that's not the one that's not the video clip I'm looking for. Right, so this is the current. Here's the current state of our house.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
These are not the droids we're looking for. Let's just run it back a bit. Come on, catch up, Mr. VLC Media Player. So the house on the left and the house on the right have been looked at. Their first render is done. Ours is a couple of weeks behind because of the situation with the previous person who put the tender in for the house pulled out. So of course nothing got done on it, and of course we picked up the slack, which is what we're paying. Well, I'll do my best to explain that as we go through the day. But yeah, so the roof girders are on. I'm still don't know about this sort of, like you have in Australia and America we do drywall, don't we? Is that you call it that's the gyprock on foundational wood or steel slats. That's how you do it. Yeah, that's cool.
Everything I've seen for there is just you're putting a skim coat of concrete over it.
Yeah,
basically it's kind of like lath and plaster without the lath.
Yeah, so we don't.
The wall.
The construction's not brick. There's a brick. It's brick and concrete, and I really don't know. I've never really studied the effectiveness of how well that works. I think it has something to do with it. It does add a little, an extra degree or two of cooling, but then again, isolation inside a drywall, like that's what we had downstairs. Well, we had it in upstairs of our 2-story house in Australia. That, like it's a reflective coating. It keeps an air gap between the inside and outside walls. I thought that was quite an effective cooling method, but doesn't seem to be used over here. I said, everything in Thailand seems to be, one person does something and everybody copies it. And this is the basic construction we have. You get these pillars that go down to your foundation, and they fill the wall gap with this sort of. It's like a brick. But then of course it's brick and concrete. I suppose it renders quite easily, and it gives it a good coating to render. G'day Dallo, how you doing? It gives a good and George Stoyles. Not much here, not so
We're
much.
Getting a bit of feedback from somebody.
Are we? I'm not getting.
I'm
not hearing anything. I didn't hear it there. But yeah, anyway, what's it? Holland and for both the flood mitigation. Not here so much. Times change with Germany. My girlfriend from the Philippines, but your channel is super. Oh, thanks, George. Venice is years behind and years over budget. Yeah, well, there you go. But anyway, getting back to the construction, yeah. So as I said, all the houses are done the same. Everywhere we've been, this basic construction is how it's done. Even this one here, it's 30 years old. It's concrete walls. With this again infill of brick and concrete. It gives it a good base to render. Like the rendering sort of does have something to adhere to. I know when they rendered the fucking fence out of the front of our house.
Do they maybe not have sheetrock plants in Thailand, so the sheetrock's very expensive for them to import?
Well, I don't know. What is sheetrock made of? That's always just a plaster, wasn't it? So
Well, it's gypsum and paper, but it takes a serious plant to build it, to make it.
but
So
gypsum. What's
I'm just
gypsum? Gypsum's what made of what?
plaster.
Plaster. And plaster. What is the construction of plaster? It's
But
it's
it's not what it's made of. It's whether or not they have a factory to produce it. If
well,
it's being imported by from another country, of course that increases the price. So I think it's just that they're able to make bricks and concrete very inexpensively there.
well, again, so but thing is, when we sort of think about the factory, like it takes nothing really to sort of set up a factory to make gyprock. Uh, they put a set of factories to make Harley Davidson motorcycles over here. So setting up and building a factory to make motorcycle parts was cheaper here in Thailand than it was in America. So conversely, it's more about obviously whether what is the gyprock made of, and what. So it's a Q&A thing. I'm asking you guys the question: what's the actual foundational material of gyprock? Plaster. What is it? It's what's it made of? I'm going to have to Google it.
But those, the plants to make it inexpensively, I think are, just like insulation plants are huge, and they can't stop. If they stop, they freeze up, and it takes a week to get them going again because the glass solidifies.
Well, here's one sort of making, combining water with 2 cups of flour. Flour is plaster? No, it's not flour.
That's making plaster of Paris, like plaster of Paris for doing
Right.
artwork and stuff.
Natural plaster. Anybody else coming up with the answer?
I mean, there's different gypsum boards. There's ones that are water resistant. There are ones that aren't.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at the
basic
constitution.
Basically, it's just plaster between 2 layers of paper, and whether the plaster is, obviously they use plaster there because that's probably what they do the interior skim with.
From gypsum. Is gypsum okay? Okay, gypsum is the okay, right. So gypsum is a soft. Okay, Wikipedia. So this is obviously what it's made of. Gypsum is a soft sulfate material composed of calcium sulfate dihydrate with a chemical formula. Okay. Is widely used as known as a fertilizer in the main. Blah 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 blah. Right. So maybe just the gypsum. It takes nothing to set up the factory here in Thailand, but maybe gypsum is not naturally mined here in Thailand is more what I was getting at.
Right.
And that's probably why they don't have it.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying it. It's like I think that they probably import it all from Australia and other countries that have the factories. I'm sure they could import the raw materials and set up a plant.
Okay. Well, no, it's interesting. Okay, so looking at the Wikipedia article, Thailand's the 3rd largest producer of gypsum.
Yeah.
But it comes from China. China, Iran, Thailand, United States. The United States has 700,000 in reserve, metric tons in reserve. But so Thailand does produce it. But I'm guessing they'd produce it for export because they build houses differently over here. I'm sure it does get used in some situations, but ultimately it's not a,
Didn't Mayor Groves import the insulation from Australia for his house? He had those big bags sitting around.
Yeah, he did something, yeah, in that way. He can tell us himself, obviously, when he gets here, if he gets here. Gypsum is a solid. Yeah, there we go. So Mr. Mitch, obviously, at the same time. Good on you, Mr. Mitch. Get the minions doing their work. Gypsum between paper. Yeah, that's right. I got to remember to keep up with the thing. Yeah. Gypsum. Yeah. Well, because the fact that unfortunately when I was doing the search, it was over the chat. Yeah. I can only imagine the fact that gypsum they make more money exporting gypsum than they do doing drywall, and it's a cheaper method.
There may just not be a market for it because I'm sure the big hotels and everything use it.
Well, what's brick? Brick is made of clay. Brick is made from clay, right? And in Bangkok specifically, well, fired clay, but it's made from clay. And we are effectively, for 50 miles around the Bangkok basin, we are on a clay sub-base. Right, so
Yep.
clay is just, we have more clay than we can poke a stick at. So that's probably why they make the walls like this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the other people was showing he goes over and he buys bricks from this little factory just down the road from his house, and goes out there and picks up the brick. And you've got a Thai family that's what they do. They make brick.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, so we can see these pegs in there for the. I guess that's that's going to hold the Rio.
for the concrete.
For the concrete,
So that's reinforcement for pouring the concrete wall.
Yeah, they got the Rio on the side there, and that's the pillars for the thing. I'm a bit worried about this telegraph pole here. I was looking at the foundation here. You probably can't quite see it there, but it's actually got a crack in the corner of it here. And this pole, that's just not the lens. That pole definitely has a lean on it.
Yeah. Well, there's two kinds of concrete, There's concrete that's cracked, and there's concrete that's gonna crack.
Yeah, that's
there's no such thing as perfect concrete.
Yeah. Yes, that's the first one of the videos there. This wasn't actually in the video. I actually shot this twice, this part. Because I actually forgot to turn the microphone on. That's the trouble with using the new microphone. I got to remember to switch both ends of it on, and sometimes I flick it, and it doesn't flick over. It's like it's a bit of a touchy thing. So here we have the downstairs. That one there is of course Mother's room. It'll look a lot better. So let's quickly go back out. So this.
See, they'll just skim coat those walls. That's thermal mass, so that will help keep the cool in.
Yeah, or the heat out. Yeah, so that's basically.
And
how it works.
keeps sound out.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some advantages of that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, so it's got the kitchen. This is the kitchen area here. There's actually two kitchen parts. So and that's one of the things that can be useful, especially with Thai cooking, because I don't know if you've done any sort of Thai cooking, when you get those spices, and they can waft through the house, and it takes days for that smell to dissipate. So what they tend to do is they tend to cook the smelly foods outside, which is usually like here we got the extension to the house here. So it's got free ventilation so that the smelly cooking goes out, doesn't come into the house. And this is what will happen here as well. Although it's been built in as a brick wall, we'll make sure we have proper ventilation there, and range hoods and things like that, so it gets those smells out of the house. Nothing worse than that stuff. Wafting through the house. I know when I used to cook in Australia, I didn't have a range hood in Australia, and start cooking chili and stuff like that in the dishes. It just not only brought a tear to my eye, it used to sort of give you, catch you in the back of the throat and almost, suffocate you. Well, in my case, it did.
Yeah. Mr. Mitch brought up a good point in that the plasterboard is not friendly for high moisture.
Yes, yeah, I think that's another thing as well. Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be having black mold in your brand new house.
Mm-hmm. But again, some mold will still climb the walls as well. So, if we don't get a good coating of a mold-resistant paint, you're painting every 5 years, and that's why everything new tends to look old after 5 years, because of all the high humidity, and the black mold just goes everywhere. Joe Elliott, good morning. Yes, how you doing? What did I miss on the thing? Cheaper to paint concrete walls than his plasterboard. You think that is David Esco? I wouldn't have thought that, because the fact that it's going to soak up the paint as opposed to just going over the paper. But yeah, maybe it is cheaper. I really wouldn't know. The house does come painted. So, well, the first coats of paint, or the estate colours of the painting is all done. That's all part of the price, thankfully. I don't have to worry about that. But we will probably have to. I don't know whether I'm going to put a big hanger for the blue screen here at the back of us, or whether I paint the study room in the chroma key blue. What's going to be easier? I don't know. I wonder if it's not used much because of the moisture in the air. Yeah, cement is cheap. Last decades, and termites haven't figured out how to eat it yet. Well, it's again Mayor Groves' house. That's an interesting thing because he's actually put termite protection in underneath the house, even though it's all concrete. He still put the termite protection in, and he gave me a very good reason for it. I don't know if you've seen some of the furniture he's got. He's got some massive furniture he's brought in from Australia. Like I'm talking, like hardwood and thick. Thick slabs of tables. He's going to have a lot of wood in his house, so they might not be able to eat the concrete, but they definitely want to get inside the house to eat the wooden furniture. Well, that's sort of basically what he was saying anyway. Me, I'm just going to go for like wooden furniture. Well, most of our furniture will be flat pack. Not exactly IKEA, but you know what I mean. I'm not into the costly furniture that looks fucking swell and you want to show off to all your friends. That's something we don't do here in Thailand. It's like you buy the latest model cars, you don't buy the latest model furniture, unless of course you're royalty, I think. Yeah, William Poole, I still think it'd be better to have a double wall cavity more costly, but would be cooler and certainly waterproof. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I always thought, some sort of cavity wall, but I don't know how they do a cavity wall with this sort of style of brick.
I've seen them do it in some of the other construction where they'll use very thin brick, and so they can do pocket doors. They'll also do it so they have a chase for electrical and plumbing for like a media room, that kind of stuff.
Well, in Australia we got what they call the Bessa bricks. They've got the holes in the centre of them. That's a building technique we have in Australia using the Bessa blocks, and they effectively have a cavity. But the thing is, it's got an air gap inside the big holes. And again, even the brick, just a normal sort of normal brick house. Again, they have those. The bricks have the holes through them as well. But again, I'm no expert on that sort of stuff. What else we got there? Joey, good morning, Joe. How you doing? My house is reinforced concrete because there's so much. So many drive-by shootings. I love it.
You just need a 50 cal turret up on top so you can shoot back.
Well, I've seen some of those American shoot 'em up movies, and they seem they're right. Like what was it in Breaking Bad where he put the freaking was it a 50 cal on the back of the boot, that he shot up the house with.
I think that was probably a 30 cal, but yeah, he put a machine gun in the back of the car and just shot the hell out of it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty. That was a classic move. I do love that series. I must go back and re-watch that one day. But there's so many good series at the moment, Laminated windows, yeah, sort of, again, sort of, what they call double glazing tends to keep the heat out. I don't know. I believe our house has it.
I think he's talking about bulletproof windows.
Oh, the bulletproof. Oh, okay,
laminated windows.
Well, that's glass on the outside with polycarbonate in the centre. That's what you need there. That's the bulletproof crap. I did a lot of work in polycarbonate back in the day. It's a hell of a stuff to make display work out of, but highly resistant to lots of things. Richie Kingstar, it's all about the installation. Yeah, maybe it is. Anyway, just a bit more flicking through the video. So that's the kitchen, as I said. That's the outside extension, which is the afterthought. They got there's the footing there for the thing, and as you can see back here, this is what we're sort of, it backs onto the clong. So we've got a good metre above there, and we've got another good metre above the clong on this side as well. We've got 2 metres above sea level, so we should be pretty good for any water drainage. And this clong is tidal; it has a tidal flow. Well, when I say you can see the king tide will obviously go up and go down as it fills and drains. But it means the fact that the clong doesn't go stagnant. There's obviously a constant water flow going through there. Got a fresh supply of coconuts on the outside as well. I'm sure one of our Thai friends will be climbing the tree to get the coconuts there. There's my computer room up in here, 2.5 metres square. How much choice Margaret, how much choice do you get on fixtures? I believe none of them, that the houses don't come with any fixtures apart from the lights themselves, and there's no choice on the lighting that they use. That'll be consistently the same throughout every one of the houses. Doors and door frames all look the same. Mind you, there was a video we did. We gave you a bit of an idea. What was the video? Let's see if we can go and have a look a bit more of what it looks like when it's bought, or when it's paid for. Paid for more to the point, I think. Where was the house? What was the video we did? Somebody asked me how much it costs, and I did reference this video the other day. Okay. Found it so easily yesterday. Where is it on the... No, there it is. So, in this video here, we had... Let's skip across. So, and we take a wander through. I think this one here is just been sold. This is how I think it's just been sold. 19 Ford. Thanks very much, couple of markup for the coffee. Coffee. Emroy. So it's actually M150, but it does say M100. Emroy. If you actually bought buying it, it's Emroy Harsip. You buy it from 7-Eleven because it's Emroy 150. But that's all everything in Thailand. Thailand's actually worse at shortening things than Australians. So when we're looking at fittings, let me see if I can do a pause here. So that's the kitchen space, and this one here, I think. Let's go back
you're gonna have your basic fixtures, your plumbing fixtures, etc.
Yeah. So, but it will be consistent. So they got the sliding doors. That fixtures are standard. The lighting above there is, the lighting above here. It's pretty much similar to the lighting we got here. Hopefully they're LEDs, but I think you can change the bulbs to LEDs. The kitchen space there. This one here has also got the extension on the kitchen space. Actually, you've got to flip it around. This one's actually reverse of the other one. Or this shape is reversed, so I'm just trying to sort of put that in context. Not easy. I know, it's reversed. Right, so that's I think that one's a bit of a... Looks like that one's slightly different.
Mark, I think they're able, because they're still in construction, he can add PowerPoints. It does increase the cost, I believe, right?
Yeah, but
Warren?
As you can see in this one here, we've got 2 PowerPoints. This is a typical room. What I did check is each room had PowerPoints on either side of the room. So if we do going back to there, this is the downstairs mother's bedroom. Right, so there's a PowerPoint on that side of the wall with 2 sockets. And there's a PowerPoint on this side where the light switch is.
I just find that so strange that they're so high up on the wall.
It's Thai way. It's just again,
Yeah.
it keeps it out of the water if you have massive flood.
Yeah, if there's a flood, it keeps it from getting damaged by floodwaters, huh?
Um, they've done something with the stairs. I think I saw the final stairs has a wooden texture to it, but I don't know whether it's just wood slats on top of it or what they've done there, or they might be just tile. But again, the
Nice little rice field out there.
yeah, it's a rice field.
They have a nice little breakfast deck off the back there. You can just sit out there and watch people work for a living.
You got your double bathrooms. Yeah, the toilets and fittings all come standard. There's I think that's one of the things Chanya liked about this one here is the extended. Most of these things have a balcony, some sort of level, but like it's 2 foot wide, you can't do anything with it. This one here, you could probably put a couple of chairs and a coffee table out the front.
Little bistro table out there.
Yeah.
Sit and have coffee.
Yeah, there we go. So that was the housing there. That was when we first looked at it, how much went. So it goes up pretty quickly. When was that video done? That was June. So June, so you might sort of say beginning of July, August. So 3 months, and they've got walls rendered. So it looks like they're taking about 6 months to put each one together. So we've got probably 4 months more on our current build. As you can see here, that's that little alcove on this master bedroom. Ours has got the wall across, and it's got the wall against the stairwell, and that's my computer room. Right, so it makes our master bedroom smaller, but again, our master bedroom will just be for sleeping. It's not like we're going to be doing any entertaining in this. It's a sleeping room. It's got the balcony, so you get up in the morning and have your Emroy coffee neither of us drink coffee, so or I have the occasional coffee, but sitting up in here and drinking my juice in the morning. That's currently that's facing east there, so that's would be the morning sun coming up from that angle. So in the facing we've got for our house, we've got Dowlow couple markup towards the ceiling insulation. Oh, very good. So we'll have an easterly sunrise on the building, which is going to be quite good. And of course that means the fact that towards the afternoon the computer room and everything else will cool down quite well because it won't have the westerly facing sun on it. It also means the bedroom will be cooler as well. And just across there is we don't actually have a 7-Eleven here, which is a bit of a shit, but we do have a Thai style kitchen, like Thai style 7-Eleven there. It's a good 2 kilometres up the road, but we're off the main street, so I'll be able to ride my motorcycle and do 7-Eleven runs on my motorcycle rather than the scooter. Which is one of the reasons why I put the top box on, so I can do my 7-Eleven runs. The power station here is only 3 kilometres away from this estate too, which is good. So we shouldn't have too much of an interruption with power. I do have the UPS on the computer equipment. That one there was worth 5 million. That particular build. So quite serviceable. Of course, the bathrooms. They've got the 3 bathrooms, but they are a bit on the small side. what we will probably do, I think they come standard like that, but what we'll probably do, we'll probably put a glass wall across, or sliding glass across that, just to keep the water out of the toilet area. One thing it is lacking is some shelving space, because, like, seriously, there's never ever enough shelving when you got a girl in the house that wants, and a mirror, you know. That shelving is just not going to be sufficient. We're going to need to duplicate that at least 3 or 4 times. But thankfully, there's plenty of wall above the toilet, so there you go. When you look at that sort of size there, it's a decent sort of size for a computer room, and it's going to have the window. My desk will face out the window, and I think it's going to face out the window. That's why, because the fact that I'll put the door over here, it's probably going to be easy to drop what they call a roller curtain down there with the blue screen. And on that computer room, I did put 3 PowerPoints. Not only did I put the wall in and the door, I've actually asked for 3 PowerPoints to be put into the room. I think it's a flip reverse, but if the master bedroom's there, I've got a PowerPoint here, I've got a PowerPoint here, and a PowerPoint on this wall. This wall here will be for the printer and stuff like that. And those 2 walls there is basically for everything else. And I may even have the I'm still tossing up which way to do the put the desk, whether the desk goes in here or the desk goes against the front wall. So that glass is actually fairly low, which means the desk, probably the desk, L-shaped desk, probably going in against this wall is probably, too bad I can't draw on my screen. Maybe that's going to be a better way for the desk layout, with the computer stuff over here and against the window. And then all my screens against the wall. But yes, she was thinking of using that area for her walk-in wardrobe, and I said, no way, it's my computer area. That room at the back is actually the biggest room. That'll be sort of our guest room. This will be set up as her walk-in wardrobe sort of thing with all her clothes in it. Yeah, so yeah, getting that one off the screen. Yes, that's where we are with that on the build. Yeah, but it's all coming along quite nicely. Excuse me, and I've been talking too much. And what have I missed on the chat? So again, after the first hour of talking, I start to get a bit dry in the throat. Geckos can crawl into Costco apple juice bottles or similar, but can't crawl out. Use some sweet fruit, banana, pineapple, etc. Check in the morning. Yeah, well, unfortunately the geckos are quite harmless. They eat the mosquitoes. This long skinny snake that loves to eat them. That was a no 7-Eleven. Yeah, I know. So I'm sure once the estate is fully done, somebody will put a 7-Eleven inside the estate, or there'll be ones that suddenly spring up outside the estate. That's the way it is here in Thailand. Dowlow cane toad system for geckos. I'm not quite sure what that means. The big geckos are okay. It's the little buggers that shit everywhere. Yeah, they do. Those little things can make a bit of a mess of walls. You're constantly washing that crap off. How it doesn't fall to the ground, I don't know. They shit on the shit sticks to walls. Can make your walls a bit unsightly after a bit of time. Live more life. How far is this from your place? Well, I did that before on that video. Let me just bring up a Google map. Google Maps, Google Maps, Google Maps. Maps, there we go. Let's bring the right thing up. So here we are. Here's the Google map. Let me just pop back off small again. So there's our house here. And where are we moved? What have they done to change the colour scheme here? Right, so that's the Tongkar Terrace. This is one of the things we went to. Unfortunately, I can't get... The estate is still too new. It doesn't actually have anything here, so I got to get the location from there. So there it is there. So somebody's got a pin on there for their house. But yeah, so if I go there, right, choosing from home. Right, well, that's probably not the way we would, no, that was walking, was it? No, public transport. Let's just go via car, thank you. Yeah, so going out here, do a U-turn. It sort of says it's 26 minutes or 13.4 kilometres. That's driving, so I don't know, effectively what's the line of sight distance? It's pretty hard to, I don't know, measure distance from there to there is what 8.12 kilometres from our current location. The magic part is the fact just here we've got this is the Bangkok province. This means Changwatara for immigration. This one here means Nakhon Pathom, and beautifully enough, right, I think we can find it here. Guess what? Nakhon Pathom Immigration Office. Look at that. A clear measurement, and we want to get a measured distance to there. There we go. 3.2. I could almost walk there in the morning. Look at that. It's a bit of a walk because unfortunately to walk out from there I've got to again. Going from there, I think you're going to walk all the way up there. But you know, they got the big Don Wai floating market up there, which is something the girls like to buy stuff from. So that's nice and close. Oop, not that one. So let's just clear those measurements. So we got. Oh, sorry. We're going from, where was it? We're going from here, measured distance, to Wat Don Wai, which is here, 2.8 kilometres of Wat Don Wai. And we, you know, we've done a few river trips up and down this river before. It's actually quite a nice scenic cruise on their little paddle boats for, I think, for 20 baht. We might do a few more river trips. I know we've done there, and of course there's the, I think when we've done the river trip we've gone from Wat Rai King, there's a ferry that goes from there up to Wat Don Wai. There's one that goes a little bit further as well. We've done the Jessera Technique Museum up there. The human imagery, I did a review of that. That's an interesting little museum if you're out there. We've done a few of these cafes. Yes, the Riva Floating Restaurant. That's actually quite a nice cafe. It's one of my favourites. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's where we are. So we put ourselves in Nakhon Pathom, which is going to make my life so much easier. Having to deal with, you know, Changwatara every year is a pain in the ass. I'll live more life. For someone moving to Thailand, do you recommend renting for 5 years then deciding to buy? Well, effectively, we've been renting here since I met Chanya in 2009. That was beginning in 2009. Halfway through 2010, I saw how she was living with 4 girls in one of these 30 square metre rooms with an ensuite toilet. and 4 beds in the corner, and I'm going, seriously, it might be cheap to live like that. 4 girls, living in an apartment for 3,000 baht a month. That's 750 baht a month each, plus food was their cost of living, basically, and electricity, which they shared as well. It had 1 air conditioner. I just said, I'm sorry, I can't have my girl living like that. So I said, I'm coming out here 4 times a year, and it was costing me like 70,000-80,000 baht in hotel fees, for 2 weeks at a time, well, or thereabouts. So was it 35,000? I got to remember how much I was paying. So how much was I paying back then? Calculator. Was it? I think I was getting for $40 US times 14. Equals, so that was 560 US a month of each time I was out here for hotel. I'll get rid of that. Go to there, go to US dollars. No, not that one, so 560. So it was 17,000 baht. So it's 18,000 baht was the cost every 3 months. So multiply that by 4. Back then, the house rental that we looked at, that I sort of said to get, was only 5,000 baht a month. I said, it's cheaper for me to rent a house and have a definite place to come to at the end of the, when I had a long flight, jump in a taxi and go home, rather than deal with fucking hotel check-ins and all that sort of shit. And it just made sense to the fact that, darling, rent a house and I'll give you the money for the rent rather than me pay a hotel. And that's what we did. So that was back then in 2010. Of course, inflation went up from there, and I think we had that house for 3 years, and then the owner of the house sold that once we had to move. Then we moved into Petkasem Hasip Tap Song. That was 6,000 baht a month for that house. But she didn't like the location. I don't know, it's a Thai thing. There was just something about the location. There was just a narrow street to park your car and all that sort of stuff, and everything else that goes along with it. I didn't have a problem, getting the car in the garage that was there. It was only a 2-bedroom for 6,000, but they were fairly large, 2 large rooms. But again, the owner of that house sold after 2 years, and we've been in this one here ever since. So what's it? 3 to 5. So we've been here. To 11. So we've been here 6 years now. When we moved in, we were paying 6,500 baht a month for it's a 3-bedroom townhouse, and then gradually the price sort of jumped up every year. I think when I moved in 2016, well, because she was here 2 years before, we were renting before, but she was renting, but I moved in 2016. I think as soon as they saw the foreigner move in, the owner of the house wanted to put the rent went up 1,000 baht. But that's what happens in Thailand. But again, on the counter-cultural, counter, or in their defence, we haven't had a rental increase this year. So there you go. So we're paying currently 9,000 baht a month. As for decided to buy, well, that's going to really depend on the relationship. And that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Somebody was making some comments, Warren, you got all this money, why don't you buy the house? Well, again, it's an investment, it's a tie, I can't, if I bought the house, I can't put that on my overall asset register. It's in her name, right, which I don't have any problem with our relationship. We've been together 11 years. I don't think we're ever going to, unless of course something drastic happens, which is the drastic things. Immigration laws could change. That's one thing. What else could change? Well, I can't think of really anything drastic apart from immigration laws changing and then sort of kicking you out of the country, right? If I bought outright, then that asset is in her name, and I can't leverage that asset to re-establish myself anywhere else. That's one of the biggest challenges you've got to deal with. You are a temporary resident. No matter how permanent you get here in Thailand, you'll never be Thai. And you are a temporary resident. And this is one of the challenges. So what do you do? Well, I'm currently paying 9,000 baht a month in rent here, which goes into somebody else's pocket. In this situation here, for a 24, I think we've based the thing on a $500,000 deposit, on the 4.1 million price of the house, so that's 3.6 million. That worked out roughly. I think the figures are around somewhere. I did have them somewhere listed. I just don't know where I've got it. There's some shit on my desk here you wouldn't believe. Is that one of the things there? No, that's something else. We did have a price schedule somewhere, or loan schedule. That's not it. That's just the floor plan changes. But I think it was something like when we looked at it at 25-year loan worked out at I think 22 to 23,000 baht a month was the mortgage, and then a 30-year was getting down to the 20,000. I've said to Chanya, I will be paying 20,000 baht. My budget is 20,000 baht a month for the mortgage, right? What you put in, that gives you your contribution and obviously how much you can afford. So sort of a deal. I won't go. I've flatly sort of say 20,000 baht a month is what it is. 20,000 baht a month, right? That's our mortgage, right? Of course, if bank rates change, then of course we'll change those rates accordingly, right? But once we do establish the loan, right, the deal is I'm paying 20, and whatever you're paying on top of that, that's up to you, right? That's how much you can borrow from the bank, and that's how much of the loan you can service. She's happy with that deal. I'm happy with that deal. And again, it goes into an asset. I'm paying into an asset as opposed to somebody else's pocket. It stays in the family. To me, that made financial sense. And again, I 5 years from now, I might feel like I've had enough of Thailand. Some people just after 10 years in Thailand, they just can no longer hack it anymore. I can't see that happening, but always look on the bright side. But if you don't look at the negative side as well, you're always going to be set up for a rude shock somewhere along the line. But yeah, so I could just say 5 years from now, I've had enough of everything. I'm going to go rogue, or I'm going to go bush, or going to got my motorcycle. I'm going to go to Cambodia. Look, I don't know what might happen. Right, 5 years from now is 5 years from now. I'm very much Thai when it comes to that. I'll look at every day, make the plans for the future, and work around everything. Life is easy. I don't want complicated life anymore. I've had enough of the complications. That's why I don't even do much to really build my YouTube channel. That's what I want to actually talk about. That once we finish talking about this, is where do you guys want me to take this channel in the future? I don't know. I've got no idea. I'm getting really comfortable in the lifestyle and playing games and just doing the stuff that we do on a daily basis. I have very little motivation to go out and be an explorer and make videos of Thailand. That's for you guys. I'm very comfortable doing what I do here. But yeah, I have got really no idea. It's really going to be a personal preference. I'd just say make sure that you've established the relationship first. Once your relationship's established, then maybe you can think of going and putting some money down on the house. And again, freehold, which is going to be 10 to most Westerners are going to want freehold. you can't own it. There are methodologies, and hopefully we're going to sort of throw that out into the conversation as well. What are the methodologies for a foreigner to be a part owner in a freehold? Yes, we do know the fact that a foreigner can own a condo, right, because it's what they call a leasehold, and the leases are 50 to 100 years, or sometimes they're only 20 years. A leasehold is something a foreigner can own. A freehold foreigner can't own, but I've been told there are ways around that, a 49-51% split. But I don't know the details. Hopefully you guys will be able to give me information on that one. Mr. Mitch, Google told me that never tried it because I've just lost my place. Oh God. Northern Thailand, g'day, how you doing? Hey, well, we're looking at geckos. Oh God, how far? I'm so far behind on the chat, aren't I? Not. Looking for the question about that's freehold. Can you vlog with iPhone, or do you use a gimbal? Oh, look, I do have a gimbal. You don't want to. I don't want to show you my desk, of course. Yes, I've got a gimbal. I've got this gimbal here. I bought, and that's for my phone. I've used it a couple of times, but I use my trusty Sony. This is my trusty Sony Handycam. Well, it's not actually handy. It's actually a sports camera. It's technically better than a GoPro. GoPro still use digital stabilization. This thing actually has a built-in gimbal on the lens. The downside about this gimbal is the fact that gimbals really require gravity to work best, right? And because of the sort of solid state nature of the gimbal, and it's using what they call sensor sort of stabilization. It's not as good as a good heavy lens gimbal, but it's still much more compact and portable. Those are, of course, the microphones. That's the receiver. That's the transmitter. I made this little rig up. This is the little rig I made to mount them. Bits of plastic there. You can't see it because it's blue. Yeah, just clip that on there, and that's so which means I can have the camera a lot further away. I can be a bit more specific with the audio. Anyway, so that's what I wouldn't use an iPhone, but yeah, I can use my trusty Realme Android phone. That does me, but as I said, I don't do many walkabout vlogs because it's means I'm going to have to get different glasses, because as I walk around, these are 1 degree magnification, but to read the screen I need to get a 1.5 magnification reading glasses, and that means I can't see, everything's blurry where I'm walking, so it's a bit hard for me to deal with a walk around style vlog using a live stream sort of type setup. That's why I don't do it. So where we go, Mr. Moto can afford. Okay, so where are we? So I prefer the house and living in a condo. I know I'm a bit late for getting the replies, but I don't want to miss anything at all. Oggie's off on playing game, I think. What's Oggie doing? Is he playing his game? Yes, he's digging holes in Dual Universe.
I am not.
I bet you are.
I'm watching you.
Yeah,
I'm flying.
You're flying, that's right. But you got another 2 hours before you hit landfall, haven't you?
I got an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Or I have to use the drop ship.
Yeah, he's going to do. I'm not going to tell you how he's going to land that ship this time. Oh my God, seriously. I'm should have like Oggy. Do you really want me to do more live stream of our antics in Dual Citizen? Should we be doing? I know. It's our antics in Dual. Half the time we're just underground digging holes, But sometimes it's about the banter, and when when we're in the game, and it's one of those sort of things. We're in the game playing, and and then the conversation starts, and then I completely forget about actually live streaming. But then, of course, when I'm thinking about live streaming, I'm the only one on screen because, that's it. What can I do? Oh, I can live stream, but I'm digging holes. Not very exciting for anybody. Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm going to have to set it up, and when people join in and we're playing the game, we'll have to sort of make a regular thing. I think it's one of the things to get the Twitch channel built up. I have to have regular live streams, not just when I feel like it. Mark Verdure, and we rent a 3-bedroom, relatively newish, lovely backyard, 300 AUD a month in Rayong. Yeah, well, it is a bit cheaper down Rayong. It's not in Bangkok. Rayong rent is probably more like the same you get in places like Cha Am, in those sort of areas. They're out of the mainstream area, so population density sort of tends to bring the pricing up. I've been through Rayong once, Randy. Nothing really sort of struck me as great. My next door neighbour, from 6 houses down the road when I was living in Australia, he's actually in Rayong. He's married to a Thai girl who manages a hotel down there. And again, I grew up with Matthew. Last thing I want to do, race off from Bangkok, go down to see Matthew. I know we did meet up once. I think we met up back in 2012. He came to Bangkok once, but he's got a bad back and he can't travel very well, which means me running down to Rayong, and there's really not much to do down to Rayong. I'd only go to Rayong if Chanya wanted to go to Rayong. Other than that, got no reason to go down there. So yeah, Niall, are you planning to get back to Thailand anytime soon? Taking one of those 9-month long-term visas? Can you qualify? Can you get back here? And Richie Kingstar, g'day Richie. So scanning through a lot of chat amongst yourselves. What I'm trying to do is the questions asked, people direct questions towards me, is it true? Here we go, I guess this is it true? You can only live stream when you have 1k subscribers. No, you can live stream with any amount of subscribers. You can only live stream with 1k subscribers once approved on your mobile phone. But you can live stream at any time on a YouTube channel. Less than 1k subscribers. To do it on your phone with less than 1k subscribers, you have to take a Streamlabs Prime connection. To do it on your phone, you have to use Streamlabs streaming software that'll bypass the YouTube. It's the actual app just will not engage. You cannot engage the YouTube app on the YouTube channel directly, but you can go through a third party without any problem. But again, sort of, if you do it with Streamlabs app on your phone, you get the Streamlabs banner on there, unless of course you've got a Prime subscription. Hopefully that answers your question. And of course, once you've got your 1k subscribers, it can, I think Sarah took 6 to 8 weeks before they approved her for her live streams. And she wasn't monetized, but she wanted a live stream. So it does take a while for the YouTube app to be registered and kicked in. 6 to 8 weeks is usual waiting time. What do some people use What do some people use Streamlabs to vlog? Yeah, well, that's sort of to answer that question. Streamlabs is a good app, but they said their app on their phone, unless of course you have a Prime subscription with Streamlabs, they watermark it. Whereas I don't have a subscription here. I can use the desktop app without any branding, but I'm pretty sure they'd lose a lot of people if they decided to sort of say we're going to brand even the desktop app. People will go and use another third party or something or other else. So I'm pretty sure that won't happen. I plan to go back to Phuket, back to Bangkok, go there from love. Yeah. Well, anytime you're out there, anyway, I always just say anytime anybody comes to Bangkok, just let me know. Hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, and let me know you're on your way out or you're on your way in, and we'll try to get together. I haven't been doing much of the Friday meetups with Jerry lately because we've been gaming too much. But I do plan to get, at least probably once every 2 weeks to get back and do
There's no such thing as gaming too much.
gaming too much. But I do plan to get back and do the Friday meetup with Jerry a bit more regular than just once in a blue moon. I'm going to have to make sure I schedule it. We have once every 4 weeks that we do Arno's, and I love the burgers. The food at Arno's is absolutely great. So what I need to do is just work out my schedule that I get to do the meet up there on a Friday when we're doing Arno's, and then they got another one there. So there's a 2-week offset. It's okay doing the meet up because of lunchtime doing the food hall, but again, it's just. Make it worthwhile going. And if I'm going to go into Bangkok, I might also have some, great lunch and everything else, rather than sort of, cafeteria food, or in my case, Subway. But yes, so I'm going to try to. I think next week's Arno, so I'm going to try to hit it up for next week. Yeah, Phuket is definitely expensive. I'm good friends with Sonny, although he doesn't come on the channel in it because it's one of those sort of professional etiquette and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how that works, but I'm good friends with Sonny, and we do have long chats from time to time. He's been busy with his pizza business lately. He started a pizza business, and he's out driving. Like, oh God, I'd get a Thai to do that. He says he'll start getting somebody to do the deliveries once it's fully established, but at the moment they're making and cooking the pizzas in-house, and he's out there, he's the delivery driver, so we don't get to chat much recently. But he sort of said, come down to Phuket. And I said to Chanya, look, Sonny wants us to go down to Phuket for a couple of days. He says, oh, Phuket, oh, Pang Ma, I don't want to go. So there you go. That's a Thai saying she doesn't want to go to Phuket because it's too expensive. And it's me paying. Work that one out. But she did, again, that's the thing. We have that sort of relationship. She's a spend. If it's not buying dresses, we're always on a budget. We don't go overboard. Except when buying dresses, but again, the dresses I'm buying, when I buy a dress, 600 or 700 baht at the most, I don't have a begrudge of buying a dress. I just wish you'd take care of the dresses you got better, and then, after stuff's in baskets on the floor. Come on, you buy all these clothes. Why do you wear some of the time? Oh my God. Anyway, I found it's best not to fight about those sort of things. Sean Mark, my friend who is Thai, is going back 2 weeks. She said the flight cost was insane, and still has 2 weeks quarantine. Yeah, I know. That's the biggest setback right now is the price of the flights. I think I was reading today or yesterday or the other day, Thai Airways are doing a charter flight every week. I'm not quite sure what the destinations are. But it's point-to-point charter flights, and they're going to be going around. So I think Europe, America, Australia, and probably China. 4 charter flights once a week. I don't know what's going on there. It's possible to tell. No idea what's going on. I have no intention of going anywhere, so I don't need to find out. There's lots of people going live on. Yeah, well, that's the thing. When I do the game streaming, I've got it set up so I go on Twitch and live on Facebook. I just, currently I just haven't been going live. Facebook going live. A lot of people doing it. It's Facebook video. I have to say their video system. I don't know. Have you ever seen it? That's a good question. Let me see. create a studio, open a new window. It's actually like when you compare what Facebook have done for creators as opposed to what YouTube have got and what they're doing for other people as well. It is like it's like chalk and cheese. You got your like the insights. This is just another. This is my 4 pages. I'm not even streaming there, so you got your loyalty. Their system is a lot slicker, and access to your library, videos I can repost, your playlist series, stories. They really have got a very, very comprehensive system. If I just go and unselect the one, that's the one with the videos on it. So again, oh come on, I know I haven't streamed for a while. Just bring it up on page. Thank you very much. Give us the statistics. Yeah, so like you got your details. Yeah, it can't be monetized. To be monetized, to get the ad revenue, you have to have 50,000 followers on your page to access the ad revenue. Getting to that 50,000 followers does cost a lot of money. In retrospect, the fact that you need to use the Facebook, what they call resources, which is the creative tools and things like that. You've got to basically set ads and things. The ads manager, you do ads to get out to the wide field, and that costs like effectively, you might say $20 US to grow your channel by 1,000 subscribers, or not subscribers, followers. Effectively, that's about the price you get. They're not god quality, but they're what they call people liking the page, and then of course the page thing goes quality up. If you wanted US subscribers, you're going to be paying more than $20 for 1,000 subscribers. Well, it's not actually $20 for 1,000 subscribers. It's $20 to run an ad. To get a US audience predominantly, you're in the bidding war, and you may be paying $40 to $50 to get in front of your demographics, and it's quite complicated. I'm pretty sure there are bogus systems out there, but as you know, with YouTube, the quality of your viewership is a completely different thing. What they call buying subscribers. They just become numbers on your page. There's plenty of channels out there with 50,000 subscribers, and they don't have anywhere near, like I've got 6,000 subscribers on my page, with on average, 1,500 views per video. Right? You find a 50,000 subscriber page with that ratio of viewers, views per video on a page that big, and then you can sort of see who's buying their subscriptions. So that's why I have a small channel. I've been down that path before. I've got myself into rather heated debates with certain vloggers over it, and I'm not going to talk about it any further. End of story. But it's just common sense, guys. And if you want a good channel, don't buy bots that are subscribers, because eventually, it gets shut down. YouTube knows it. YouTube wasn't born yesterday. They know what's going on. Right? It's that they're powerless to stop it. All they can do is they just don't promote your videos over everybody else. So you might have lots of subscribers on your channel, but you just basically they're not giving you the click-through rate that you need. They're not putting you in front of an audience, because what is your audience? Your audience is a bunch of mobile phones on a wall. You've sort of seen what it looks like. I'll give you an idea. Let's go to Google. Google Photos. No, I'm going to Google Photos. My photos. Google search. Go images. Let's see if we can. I don't know what the query was I did last time I did this. Wasn't a setup. There were some good photos I did on one search a while back. I didn't save the photos. I just can't remember what the search term was. Okay, so it's not coming. I can't find you. There's plenty of photos. There are plenty of photos. I just can't remember what the search term was. But yeah, they're just racks and racks of mobile phones. But yeah, so statistics and everything else. It's a really good system. Creative Studio, YouTube are going to have to lift their game, as we say. The people are moving off the platform because of their policing method, and everything else that goes along with that. And like, if I live stream, we've got what they call the star system, where unfortunately the star system is a bit weird. Whereas like here we have the super chat on, which I'm qualified for, on YouTube. That super chat system is part of your monetization, and when you qualify for it, it goes on your channel. I think it'll be 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours per annum. You've got to approve for AdSense, and then they turn it on for you. And that allows people to make donations for coffee. Donations for coffee, which a couple of guys, have already done. I'm more concerned about the likes. What's our like ratio right now, Oggy? What have we got? We've got 23 likes, and we've got 27 watching now, because we're just talking about everything under the sun. But yeah, so yeah, in the Facebook system, the watcher has to first go and give money to Facebook and buy what they call these stars, and that's confusing for most people. So it's a two-step operation. You've got to then go buy stars, as opposed to this one here. You just pledge some money and YouTube take 30%. Facebook also take 30% on their stars program, but it's when you buy the stars. So like for for $20 US, you get 9,000 stars or something like that. But when the stars go to the person, I think 100 stars is $1. So, if you want to do a $5 US pledge, you'd pledge 500. You'd give 500 stars. I can't easily show you that. I'll have to join a live stream and show you how it works. But yeah, that's how their system works. So, and people are doing that, and the star system's fairly new. Not everybody knows about it, and it does take a bit of overspeak or back channel talk about when you're doing that, to make sure people know how the star systems work. And again, you've got to be following the channel to start with, and know when you go live. And of course, I'm not doing it scheduled. I'm not doing it. I just doing it when I feel like it, and I only probably get 2 or 3 people jump on the stream at a time. It's just again, it's what I do. This is my life. YouTube happens to be the one that has some real dollars behind it. Not that it's much, but it's real dollars. I stream because I stream. I enjoy the community and the conversation. As you know, I talk all 4 legs off an archer and mega donkey, and probably then teach it to walk again. But I enjoy the community and the community building. The money side is a lot of fun, and as I said, it's nice to go and buy a coffee or a Red Bull smoothie or whatever. but it's never required in any way, shape or form. We have our Patreons; they're loyal followers of the channel. But again, so, the people who are doing the pledges here are also, and there's Andy Stubbs coming here. As soon as I mentioned it. I don't mention it for people to do. I just mention the fact that that's how the system works. Couple mark up Andy Stubbs. Big W is off to do some gardening. Good on you, Big W. Got to keep the plants watered. My 2 cents is happy to rent in Thailand and rent out the property in Oz. Yeah. There you go. The nice little jingle there. All right, I need to change that jingle to a cash register. Ching ching. No. Something on my to-do list when I get around to it. Anyway, thanks for joining, Big W. It's nice to have you along. I know I didn't. Did you miss the real estate talk? Well, we talked about our real estate. I was hopefully going to encourage people to do some Google search to find out what the inside-out story was. For how a foreigner can be part owner, what's the steps for part ownership in a freehold. I don't know the ins and outs of that, and I was hoping you guys were going to sort of tell me on that one and talk amongst yourselves. That I just set the forum up. This is the forum, right? And we all chat amongst ourselves. You're quite free to come and join the Discord. Come and add your voice. Always. This links are down below. But what we do here is we build community. That's what we do. That's what it's all about. And Dowlow's done it again, hasn't he? Lunch with a Slurpee. Thanks very much, Dowlow. Where else? I got off on too many tangents today, didn't I? Just scrolling back. Anything I missed? There's the jingle. Always the jingle. What else have we got? Did I miss anything, Oggy? What's Oggy streaming? Oggy's streaming something.
Sorry, I've been jumping all over the place.
What are you streaming?
Coming into Alioth.
Pop out. There we go. What's Oggy doing? This is what Oggy's doing. Let's get that bit on screen. Oggy can entertain us for a bit. There's his contraption.
There's my ship, and there's the little baby ship that I'm going to be dropping off.
Oh, you're going to drop ship. He's going to do an Amazon delivery. How far out are we at for the Amazon delivery, Oggy?
I'm 155 SUs out.
Oh,
still, so a little over an hour.
So the stream will be finished by that. Maybe we'll get on to what I'll do is Xavier. Thanks very much, Xavier. So what we might do is there we go. That's inside he's giving us a tour of his ship. I should get out of it. You want me to go small on this one here? Give us a tour of his ship.
It's a tour, just one big open flight bay.
Yeah, one big open flight bay. So Big W, before I go, make a point. I've been paying rent for 5 years for a total of 1.2 million baht. I wish I'd made the purchase here. What's that work out? What's that weekly rent on that then? When you're 1.2. So mathematics. I'm not really good at math anymore. God, I used to do that shit in my head. 1.2 million, divide that by 60.
Of course, last time I went outside on a ship and did this, I ended up falling off and dying.
So that's 20,000 baht a month. Yeah, that's but that would have got you, a nice house over here, I suppose, wouldn't it? But of course, it comes down to the person. Make sure you've got to be with that person when you start to think of the purchase. There you go, so Big W. Just as quick as I can get my calculator out. Oh my God. Xavier, great to have you along. Thanks for the Thanks for the support and all that sort of stuff. We're in the wind down stage. We only go to the 2 hour mark anyway. Or try to wrap it up to 2 hours. As I said, Stephen won't be joining us today. He's out playing golf. I think he's in a better headspace recently. We might sort of see him joining the stream at some stage in the next week or two again, and giving his 2 cents worth or 10 baht worth or whatever. The rub, keeping cash on hand and hopefully making money and spend. Again, sort of, if you look at Bitcoin prices and a few other investments there, property prices in Thailand, apart from Bangkok, property price doesn't seem to really have a big, what they call, growth rate. I think the property prices in Australia are growing about 5% per year, which is a fairly sort of rock solid foundational investment. Commercial property is growing at a bigger rate. I think I've got a dividend in commercial property. Not quite sure how that's doing. I haven't looked at I don't look at those sort of things. They get scary when you look at them. But yeah, I've got part of my spread there is commercial property. And that does about, normally in pandemic aside, that was doing about 12%. Over a 10-year long-term investment. So 12% is a good investment portfolio. Some of the other stuff, Australian technology shares and things like that, they're growing at 15 to 16%, even through the pandemic. But again, I'm not an investment advisor. I'll tell you what you can do there. Mr. Mitch, plan to move around. Like I said, one of the reasons why I've not really been keen to do anything in the purchasing before, because part of that moving to Thailand was, again, do you want to live in Bangkok all your life? Back in 2016, there was talk of moving to Sukhothai, there was talk of moving to Cha Am, there was talk of moving out west to Kanchanaburi. There was talk about moving down to the beaches below, like not Rayong, but a bit further down there. We got some family down that way, and a lovely area down there. So everything was all iffy. Nobody was making any decisions. Well, I wasn't making decisions. Chanya just didn't really know what she wanted. That's more to the point. Now that she's got an established business, she's been doing the business for 2 years, she's, for want of a better word, she's settled down. Now she's settled down, she said, well, settle down, next place is set up house, do the nesting thing, and that's where we are now. It's the nesting side. She wants a house. She wants to be sort of seen throughout, not so much throughout community, but through family. The fact that father's side of the family can do good too, right, and do good the right way, if you want it, for want of a better word. That's part of the rift that I keep on referring to, and I really don't know all the ins and outs. As I said, the rift is a divorce and remarry, or a separation and remarry. I don't know how that part works, but one side of the family split off to the other side. That was the recent bereavement we had on that other side, the grandfather dying. He was the one that took the second wife, but not only did he take a second wife, he had established business in, I don't know, plastic refuse, as far as I can figure out, because like when you look at the warehouse, they collect plastic refuse for whatever, I don't know, but it is a part of a business model. They got a few trucks, they got this, they got that, but from what I understand, it's very grey area business, right? And Pa was always standoffish towards that side of the family because of other reasons as well. I think partly due to the divorce and partly the thing. But that side of the family actually forced Pa's mother to sell their house in the middle of Bangkok this is what I keep on talking about, the weird stuff that goes on here. Got no problem here being a foreigner, but you know what Thais can do to Thais. Thai can shaft Thai just as well as they can love them. They really can. And somehow something went on there. They made grandmother, which is on father's side, made her sell that house because what I don't know beats me. She was made to move out and all that sort of stuff because they wanted the money. I don't know how it works. It's crazy shit. One of the reasons why I don't buy the house here, right, apart from the fact that it's an investment, but I don't get to use the investment, is the fact that that side of the family could do something to this side of the family. I don't know what they could do, but they could do something maybe. I don't know what. I don't know what can happen in that sort of side of things. But if they would do it and then take on a mortgage, that would be a completely different story, wouldn't it? So they might do it if it was completely purchased. They might do some rear angling and do some weird shit, and suddenly find yourself you don't have a house anymore at all because of some internal family rift. So whether they'd do that on a mortgage, that's another thing altogether. And while I'm paying the mortgage, I think it's a safe bet. So it's all good. That's the inside story on that one of the housing thing. Because people have been asking me why I don't buy, and that's one of the reasons why I don't buy. Just covering all bases. It also
Sorry.
leaves. It also leaves. Yeah, right. It also leaves the money running and available if something goes sideways. Because trying to get money out of a Thai property, that would mean Chanya would have to sell and everything else, and then it's on a goodwill. I've got no hold on it. I'm sure she would sell and give me half, but then of course it puts her back on rental property as well. It's so Cox, what do you got? No go to Mr. Mitch, I love water too. Some points here. My plan isn't finalised. Still have some details to work out. I'm going to live under Wazza's steering. Well, there's going to be a bit of a sort of a squashy place there between you and Stephen Monash. It's terrible. Do you think maybe I need to dig underneath the building and make a bigger Harry Potter room for both of you?
A basement.
I need a basement.
You put a full basement in under it, and then then you could rent that out to the expats who are dodging the
right
visa police.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
It could be a hidden room.
A hidden room. Should have thought about that before to put the concrete slab down.
As long as we have internet and beer, we're good.
Internet and beer. That's all you need. Yes, Andy Stubb, money is king in Thailand, and it gets some weird stuff happening, and you just never can trust where the money falls. That's where the policy's made. Look, Thomas, Oggy, houseboat. We have joked about that from time to time, and it was something that was thought about quite seriously. I just don't know what mortgage fees and where would you put it and all that sort of stuff and how it would come, or even just living on a clong. It was entertained. You don't have to worry about flooding, do you? But where do you put your motorcycles?
Well, you put those in a car park.
In a car park? Put my motorcycle in a car park? I can't do that. No. Seriously.
Wherever you're tied up with your houseboat, they're going to have a parking area or storage. Hopefully,
It may be. I don't know.
Just rent some beach, some Klong front property from a Thai, and just put a little dock out there and just park your houseboat there. I mean, I've lived in an RV in the U.S. for years, and I could do an RV or a houseboat. That'd be awesome. Then you could move it around. You wouldn't have to, sell your stuff or pay a mover. You just fire it up, move it.
Live more life. What's the bank rate? Currently, I think we're being quoted on around about the 4.5% rate. I think the RBA rates in Australia is less than 1% now. But what's the bank rates in Australia? I've not been following in bank rates in Australia. I think they're as low as 3.5% on a 3-year fixed, starting first home loan sort of type setup. But I think over here they don't have that sort of marketing here in Thailand. One of the reasons we're being delayed here in the mortgage front is the banks right now in Thailand are very, very apprehensive of lending on 10%, whereas that was something that was done in Australia quite readily. I don't know if they're still doing it in Australia on 10%, but it depends on obviously income flows and everything else. And obviously the location and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how that is in the moment in the market. But over here, banks right now are very, very conservative. Chanya actually made a comment about it. It's just, they were talking about it at the rentals thing yesterday, or on Wednesday. If I was to extend it to 20% deposit, if I was to put another $500,000 in on the deposit, pretty much would get approved straight away. It's again, money talks. But I'm going, maybe not. I have $1 million set aside for the project, but $500,000 was the deposit, and $500,000 was obviously furniture and fittings and all the stuff that needs to go through there, because that's going to come out of my pocket, of course. So if we did that, then of course we're sleeping, we're using this furniture, and we'll have the 2 air conditioners from this house moved into that house. And the water system will be moved. Nothing will be new. We'll just be working with second-hand stuff, and that'll be fine. But she has to understand the fact that the other $500,000, that was obviously to make the house pretty, and put the car park awning over the top, and all that sort of stuff. That's on top of the 4.1 million loan or purchase. So we have a challenge there. But as I said, we'd pretty much put another $500,000 down on the deposit. Pretty much a done deal. But that's the way it is. It's just, as I say, money talks. If you're only going for a 10% deposit, the banks are waiting to see how the market settles down after this pandemic. Once the pandemic is over and done with, then we should start to see a bit more confidence in the banking sector, and their confidence will then obviously move into the let's help Thais out sector on 10% home loans, because they want Thais in mortgage. It's what they call it's an indentured workforce. They have to work to pay the mortgage. Thais at the moment living from week to week on 300 baht a day or thereabouts, rentals. It's an iffy workforce situation. So governments like to see people with mortgages because it's an indentured servitude, whereas Thais don't go for that much. So. Oh, getting very, very thirsty there. Mark, Sean Mark. He said rent beer for an hour. Yeah, I know. You got to buy the glasses without the hole in it, especially the hole at the top. Motorhome could scratch. That was one of the things. I'll give you. The Sukhothai option was we got land, or mother's got land up in Sukhothai, on the farms. On the what do you call it? I don't know. It's the family plots. It is a community family collection of. I think over a period of time, the land gets subdivided between the different, sons and daughters, and at mother's level I think she has 4 rai up there, but the 4 rise she's got is spread over 3 separate locations. Work that one out. It's quite crazy, because that's the way it's all been divvied up over a period of generations. And we were told that we could have, a plot up there, probably 75 to 80 square metres to build a house up there, and we could build up there, no problem. I could get broadband internet, I can get fibre internet up there, living in that location, right? It'd take a year to build the house, which meant sort of moving up there, finding, probably sort of setting something up, putting an air conditioner or 2 in, putting the broadband in while they built the house. And we could probably build a 3-bedroom, nice comfortable 3-bedroom house on stilts. I'd have to build on stilts up there, unfortunately, because of the constant flooding we get. But we could probably do that for $1 to $1.5 million. We could have bought outright. And I would have been happy to do that. I wasn't averse to it. Chanya's been the one who's averse to it. I said, all you need to do is just re-establish yourself with the salon up here and see something wrong, and you'd be good. A bit of competition, of course, goes along with that, but, there's also already quite a few salons up there, and, salons and population density and everything else is a weird one. She wouldn't make as much money as what she makes here, but, she would be gainfully employed. She'd have to, ride to work and see some wrong every day, But that would have been her lifestyle. That would be her choice. She chose to do it here rather than there. So, can I ask, what is bank interest if you need to deposit? I've seen no interest on my bank account at all for that out of 1,000. I think the interest rate is 0.03% on that account. So yeah, you can get different accounts. It's just a parking account. It's one of those things. I think Mayor Groves has said the account that his 800,000's in, I think it's less than that because he's married. That account there he's got 1.5% per annum. I think he's making. But again, it's not much bank interest.
I wonder if you could use a brokerage account.
No, you can't use brokerage account. No, you can't use brokerage. It has to be a Thai bank. They have to see, money going in, money going out. That's basically it. Having an 800k account, just sitting there static, right? They find that iffy as well, right? They don't have a problem in my account. The only problem they had was that 14 days that they couldn't justify, and previously because it was in another bank that they couldn't investigate because Citibank, not being Thai owned, the Thai government doesn't have leverage on the bank. That's why it got canned. But such is life. Thai government have access to all Thai banking establishments, and they can see inside your accounts. What they look for is they're looking for where's the cash coming from? You're not working in Thailand. You're not taking money from Thailand, and doing nefarious things with it. That's how it works. John Tim Dave has joined the stream. G'day, John Tim Dave. How you doing? I know I'm scrolling off a bit again. Have you ever had a car in Thailand? Is it safe to ride on a bicycle in your area? Well, half the people are on bicycles in our soy here. So bicycles, safety is a completely different thing, right? God, seriously, although it's an actual road, it's treated like a shared access system. So you get people walk in front of you, bicycles do U-turns in front of you, motorcycles do U-turns in front of you, and cars park wherever the fuck they want. So it's really weird. People have been asking me to go out and really do a live stream out there on the street that really show you this shit. It's crazy. Maybe I will do a video. Unfortunately, it's just the water and everything else. So every time I think about it, it's raining or something like that, or I'm doing something else. But I should sit down and do a snapshot 5 o'clock in the afternoon of
You
what.
should just do a webcam out your window.
Well, I can't because we're actually off the main soy, so it's a right angle off, and it's 100 yards up to the first 7-Eleven, right? But from that corner of the 7-Eleven, looking down the street, mate, you should see it. Like, it is absolutely freaking crazy. And one day I will be inclined to do that live stream for you guys. Just, when I can. Yeah, when I can, I'll work something out. Just give you an idea of the craziness. But yeah, safety is a risk factor. let's just leave it at that. Hi RM, hi brother, first time live with you. Oh, good. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to hit that like. If you're joining, just hit that like button down there. That's what we look for. Of course, if you think we're doing a good job, there is a super chat down below as well. And just, if you can, at least do at Warren Goose TV, so I can see the questions you're directly asking of me, so that they stand out from the rest of the chat amongst yourselves. Not that I'm trying to avoid you chatting amongst yourselves. Chat amongst yourselves as much as you want, guys. When I start thinking and talking, I can't read the chat at the same time. RM, what do you think is a good retirement amount for a couple? I don't know. It's one of those things. It depends on your lifestyle. This is always, I think these videos that how cheap can you live and all that sort of stuff. That's why I've probably tried to avoid doing those sort of things. When I do reference a price of something, it's subjective. Like the last video I did for the lunch we did, right? That was 340 baht. What was that? $12 something? I can't remember what it was now. Australian. That's the cost of living, and I bought dinner. How much did it cost? If you bought 3 plates and 2 drinks, how much did it cost Australia? You work it out, because everything's subjective. If I give an example, Jerry pays 65,000 baht a month on rent alone in his condo. Right, it's a 2-bedroom condo. It's about 75 to 80 square meters. His girl has a room. He has his room. His girlfriend lives in a separate room, but they are a couple, right? How much he spends on top of that? That's up to Jerry. I could quite honestly say Jerry's probably spending 120. Like I shouldn't even guess. Let's say 120,000 baht a month. That's what his expenses are. Mind you, he lives on Sukhumvit near the M Quarter, which is Phrom Phong, which is one of the upper class areas in the centre of Bangkok. So that's his budget, right? If you're living out here on a budget, right, you can get away with maybe for a couple, which is what I do, for 60,000 baht a month. That's a good spending money. Right, that pretty much pays for all the runs or running around, all the food, all the sundries, pays for electricity, right, and everything else. Now, of course, I'm bringing an extra lot because we're paying, an extra amount. We're trying to put money in an account to fake it. There's income, right? So I'm putting an extra 50,000 baht into that account per month, where the bank only sees it coming from Chanya to Chanya, right? So I give the money to Chanya in one account, she then moves it to another account, and then that's building up that 500,000 baht deposit. Just trying to trick the banks. Look, banks know these stories, they go on, but again, they're not paid to actually scrutinise. It's a checkbox. If the checkboxes can be filled, it's all good. Currently all the checkboxes are filled. Right, we just don't have the 500,000 yet. I've still got 3 more deposits to make to get to the 500,000 mark, which is the next 3 months. So that's that puts us into December. So we could get an approval in December once we've done all the checkboxes. You know what I mean? That's how it works. But yeah, so it's the thing. I know some people, have lived here as a single for Well, if I use an example, I won't use names. He was teaching here in Thailand. Okay, he had supplemental money coming in from his YouTube channel, so he was making 22,000 a month income teaching, and he was probably making an extra 10,000 baht a month on his YouTube. So he was a couple, but I don't know what his girlfriend made. Probably the same amount. But they were in the centre of Bangkok, or not centre of Bangkok. They were north of Bangkok, but still in public transport. So they were probably living on 60,000 baht a month as well. But as a single, I know people on the similar situations as singles, living on a teacher's salary, and a teacher's salary a year is not that much. I've heard, 20,000 baht a month for a teacher's salary, and they manage to live. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, whether they have a girlfriend or whether they have part-time girlfriends, it's another matter. I don't know. It's really how low do you want to go. Later, guys. Okay, Landy. Sort of catch you later. Nice of you to join us. Thanks for the contribution for the Emroy Bun Fund. Drinking Emroy Bun for a week. Also, John Tim Dave. I enjoy driving here. Yeah. It's laws here. Look, the driving laws, as you said, they're pretty much identical to the Australian laws. The only difference between Thailand and Australia, you don't have the Australian police sitting in 5.8 litre pursuit vehicles and pulling you over for failing to indicate. That's the difference here in Australia and Thailand, is the fact that Australian police force are a revenue raising system. Right? I don't know who they're raising it for because it's all on book. Thailand here, it's again, the police work on a checkbox system. Today we're enforcing helmet laws on this intersection. That's that. So that police station, right? The officers will go and stand on that. Okay, if you've got a helmet and doing a U-turn illegally, they're not checking that box today. It's only helmets today. So that's all they're getting paid for. That's all they're going to do. I have still yet to see a police pursuit vehicle anywhere in Thailand. I've now seen a police siren go off, I think, twice in 4 years, right, where I think they were probably late for dinner or something because I couldn't see them chasing anybody, right, but I did see a police siren go on now twice over the last 4 years. It just seems the fact that they don't, unless of course it's on their to-do list for the day's exercises, it doesn't get done. So, as we used to say, that's a traffic light meme. Green means go, yellow means caution, red means stop. In Thailand, green means go, yellow means look out for other drivers, right, and red means check for police, then go faster. That's how it works over here. It's Thailand. Gotta love it. It's the Wild West. Anyway, we've gone to the 2-hour mark. I'm rambling and raving on as we do. Any last questions that I need to answer? Is that because they want to see transaction fees while using an account? Well, I don't see any transaction fees. That's the thing. I don't see transaction fees on my account. The account seems to doesn't have it. They got my money. There's no transaction fees. Sometimes if I use a different bank over here, so I wear with Casicon. If I don't use the Casicon, if I don't go the extra 50 yards down the road on the motorcycle to get what I want out of the bank, out of the ATM machine or the hole in the wall, probably one time every 5 if I use the I think it's Bangkok Bank. Thank you, Sean. The Bangkok Bank one, which is on the corner, which is on the wall of the 7-Eleven. Probably one time out of every 5, they hit me with a 10 baht withdrawal fee. So it's 10 baht to take the money out. What's that? 60 cents Australian. 40 cents US. That's a bank fee, I guess, but that's a different bank charging a fee because I've got a different card. But why it doesn't happen every day, every time I take a withdrawal out there? It's like a bit of a sort of a toss a coin thing. Are they going to charge me 10 baht to take money out of the ATM today? I haven't worked out what the system is. But if I don't want the 10 baht fee, and if I'm concerned about the 10 baht fee, I'll go down a bit further down the road. But most of the time I just use the Bangkok Bank. I'm pretty sure it's Bangkok Bank. It could be a different bank. I've never really identified which bank it is. It's one of the other banks anyway. But yeah, one time every 5 there's a 10 baht fee. And it's not like I can say, okay, that's 4 transactions. The 5th transaction will be the one they pass the fee. I can go down here, and no, it doesn't work that way. It's just totally random. Sometimes I might have 3 in a row, and then not see a fee, not see an ATM charge for 6 weeks. How I don't know. It's bizarre. It's the way it here was in Thailand. And Augie 73 AU away. So we do want to get onto the live stream onto Twitch. So you can always join us over on Twitch, but guys, the Twitch link is down below. I'm gonna make some food, do a couple of things here, like go to the toilet, and probably within about maybe sort of 30 minutes we'll be back on streaming on Twitch. Anyway, thanks for your kind donations, guys. It's always welcome, never required. The main thing is hit that like button before you go, and we're going to get out of here. Augie's still flying his ship. He's 44. He's going 73. I'm not going to do the calculation. So let me put myself big on the screen again. Right, where's my other link? I'm going to get out of here.
I'm a half hour out.
Half hour out. I got time to get some food and get the stream up and running, and get signed into Twitch and all that sort of stuff. Everybody else, yes, Mark, enjoy your week. Everybody enjoy your week. Have a good week ahead. Hopefully, sort of, the pandemic doesn't sort of put too many sort of spanners in the works. I know Victoria, that's a lost case. We're about to open up the doors to tourists here in Thailand. Guess what? The people who created the pandemic, they're the first ones in. Work that one out, guys. Oh my God. Anyway, peace out. We're out of here.
What? Trump gets to go first?
No, the Chinese get to go first.
Oh.
The pandemic. The people who created the pandemic.
Trump has caught the COVID.
Yes. Oh, you know, he's caught the best COVID. Quickly before we go, where's the meme?
Nobody's ever caught COVID like that before.
Where's the meme? Yeah, there we go.
It'll be the best version of COVID ever.
But where's the meme? Here it is. Here's the meme. I can be before we go. Let's got to do the meme. I have coronavirus. These doctors, they tell me it's a very impressive amount of coronavirus that I have. Very impressive. It's the biggest coronavirus they've ever seen. It's a very impressive amount of coronavirus. Anyway, peace out, guys. Yeah. We're out of here. And we'll catch you again this same time, same bat time, same bat channel, because we're all batty here.
Yes, indeed. Cheap bat. It's acting like a good.
Yep, there's all my channels, so you can catch me anywhere there. Yep, special thanks to all our supporters and patrons. Help them mark up. Show your support. Like the stream, comment below, subscribe, share, blah blah blah. There's some videos to watch.